All right, welcome back to the Purging Collection saga. So this segment is all about eye stuff. So it's mostly eyeshadows, a few mascaras, and a couple eyeliners, and a pair of lashes. These are Ardell 110s. These are one of the colored ones. So this is the blue. And as you can see, they're just kind of... I pulled them a little bit too hard on one side, so they've stretched out and they're just in a weird shape and they don't mold to my eye anymore. But I did like these. I have also the wine color, which I really like. But those are on their way out too. But yeah, these they don't work anymore. So we can go. Let's get all the mascaras out of the way. These are all cruelty-free mascaras, actually. I guess I've been cruelty-free long enough to not have any mascara still hanging around. So the first one is Hard Candy Ginormous Lash Volumizing Mascara. This wasn't a terrible mascara, but I did not like the brush. I mean, look at how huge that brush is. I want to say that's what she said, really bad. Want to throw that out there. I found it annoying to use because the brush is so ridiculously large. This is a mascara from Gabriel. This is one of the products I got in that Whole Foods beauty bag that I mentioned in the skincare purging video. This would be a nice mascara if you just wanted to kind of darken your lashes. I like a little more oomph for my lashes. So it was just the kind of thing I didn't reach for. It's also not the cheapest mascara. I think this is like $18. But it's, it's all natural ingredients, which I can honestly, I don't know. I honestly don't know enough about any of that to make any judgments on it, so I don't. Let's see. A very standard kind of brush. But again, I don't reach for it, and it's been sitting around for a while, so I think it should probably go. The next two mascaras are from Wet n Wild, who I love, but I have yet to find a mascara that I like. This one came closer. This is the kind of newer one, the Max Volume. I really like the packaging. I don't know, this kind of flat surface is really comfortable. The brush has really short bristles, so it's still kind of a big brush, but it has short bristles that kind of go out on the end. So it's easier to use, but just the formula, as with all, I'm going to say, I think I've tried all of them, all Wet n Wild mascaras, just kind of fail formula-wise for me. This was better. This did add a little oomph to my lashes, but it flaked, and I ended up with that nice little kind of ring of black flakes under my eyes after wearing this. So I put it on and I was really excited. I think I did a first impressions on this where I was like, oh my god, a Wet n Wild mascara that doesn't suck. And then the more I used it, I was like, oh, damn it. So, come on, Wet n Wild. Make a good mascara. And this one is the Mega Length Waterproof Mascara. And if you follow my blog, I've been on the hunt for a cruelty-free waterproof mascara that I like. This was not it. Again, when I first started to apply it, I was like, okay, this doesn't suck. It's separated nice. It added a little length. Didn't really add too much volume. It's a very small brush, which I appreciate. But almost like my lashes all of a sudden had magnets on them. They started to clump together, which is not a look that I like. So, all right, I have two eyeliners in here. They're both Wet n Wild, and I'm just getting rid of both of them because they've both dried out. So this is the Wet n Wild Mega Liner in Plum. I don't know if I was able to focus that. I'm sitting in front of a window, so anything with shiny stuff tends to just glare into the camera. So sorry if that was the case. I liked this because it has a nice thin. I tend to like brush applicators for liquid liner. This is a liquid liner, by the way. And this is a nice one. It's very thin, but as you can see, there's no product on it and is completely dried out. And honestly, I mean, I didn't reach for it. I love the waterproof. Oh my God. I love the waterproof, the H2O liquid liner from Wet n Wild, but I don't like the applicator that much. Maybe you'd call it a felt tip. I don't know. There's no give to it, which maybe is the point because that can make it easier when it's not moving around. But I prefer a brush, but these are in the same container, so I might try cleaning this off and using this in the waterproof. So let's see if that works. And this next one is the Wet n Wild. This is just the regular cream liner. Comes in this weird kind of like UFO contraption looking thing. And this is just dried out. So you can see maybe how it's pulled away from the edges of the container. And this was kind of like this when I bought it. So I think maybe these sit in the store for a while. I've heard that this is a nice liner, nice cream liner, but I've had problems with the cream liners from Wet n Wild and e.l.f. When I buy them, they're already dried out, so I don't know. I have 6 non-cruelty-free eyeshadows that I am getting rid of, either because I found a cruelty-free dupe for them or I don't reach for them anymore. And I think this is all of the non-cruelty-free stuff except for my 3 MAC shadows, which you know, that's another story. Anyway, this is the Maybelline Color Tattoo 24-Hour Eyeshadow. Oh, what shade is it? This was another job lot purchase. Oh, Shady Shores. It's right there on the cap. And it's a interesting kind of yellowy gold with almost a green kind of duochrome. It's kind of dried out from non-use. I don't know if you can see. Again, this was before I went cruelty-free. Yeah, it has quite a kind of a green duochrome. So it's an interesting shade, but you know, I never reach for it, so it can go. This is the Rimmel Scandalize 24-Hour Waterproof Pencil in Bulletproof Beige. And I did actually use this one quite a bit. This was another Sharon Farrell inspired purchase. She did a really cool kind of blue eyeshadow with one of the Rimmel Scandalize. I don't have a jumbo pencil sharpener, so I haven't. And this is, you know, it's a pretty shade. But again, it's not cruelty free. I don't reach for it. I don't have a pencil sharpener big enough for it, so I'm tossing it. Alrighty, next up is this Maybelline eyeshadow duo in Rose Tints. So this was early in my newfound makeup passion days. Again, you know, they're pretty shades, but I don't reach for them. The Petal Pusher palette from Wet n Wild has similar and, in my opinion, more interesting shades than this. So again, this is just something that I can get rid of because it's just taking up space. All right, we have a CoverGirl eyeshadow. I have quite a few eyeshadows of this kind of tone. I guess I like it. This is in the shade Aqua Paradise, maybe? I don't know. This is the CoverGirl Eye Enhancer. The number on it is 7072. Maybe I'll look it up. Probably not, though, if I'm honest. And it's one of those kind of Cleopatra, tealy, golden shades. Have a lot of these. And I have, ooh. You know, it's definitely a pretty shade, and it's a nice eyeshadow, but again, I have cruelty-free alternatives that I can use, so this can go. What cruelty-free alternatives are those, you might ask? In the summer 8-pan limited edition Wet n Wild palettes, there are in Temporary Solutions, and the other one that I have, I'll put it here. They both have kind of tealy shades, or maybe it's just Temporary Solutions. One of those has a really pretty teal like this, and it's actually a close enough dupe to one of the MAC shadows that I have in Steamy. The Wet n Wild shade is just a hair more blue, and Steamy is just a little bit more golden. This is kind of more like the Wet n Wild shade, actually. It's a little bit more blue than Steamy is. So, you know, someday I might actually get rid of that MAC shadow too, but, you know, all of those shadows were given to me as gifts, and they're not cheap eyeshadows, so I feel like I should continue to use them. In any case, this next one is a Revlon eyeshadow, Diamond Dust in Night Sky. And this, I have to say, I have mostly not gotten rid of it just because it looks so pretty in the pan. So it looks like it's kind of a blackish, dark gray shadow with a lot of kind of multicolored shimmer in it. And it doesn't really come off like that. I have to really, I mean, it is now because I just swatched it kind of heavy on my finger. Again, with the middle finger, I'm sorry, guys. But when you actually start to blend it out, that depth of color doesn't stay. The sparkles still do. Again, hopefully this is working out. But it's really pretty. But I have other sparkles, and I don't need this one hanging around in my collection. Although I'm a little distracted by it right now. Anyway, all right. So I have 3 more non-cruelty-free shadows. This is a Clinique shadow in Foxy, one of their high-impact shadows. Again, this is something that I've had way too long. It's kind of a shimmery mid brown, which when I got it wasn't that interesting to me because I wanted color because I was like 16. Again, I think this was my mom's shade originally, and she gave it to me because she never used it either, and I never have really used it since, so it can go. I also have a shade from Ulta in Sunkissed, and it is it's a pretty rose gold. Swatch for you. Feels a little bit grainy, but it is a little bit old, so that might be why. And I can now get rid of this. I like this kind of shade a lot. But I have that Bella shade from Milani. This is a little bit more, this is a little bit darker, a little bit more kind of deep pink, deep rose. but not so different that I feel the need to keep this around. I never reach for it. I just use that Milani shadow, which is gorgeous, and I highly recommend if you can find it to get it. So this can get satisfying little click there. Okay, last non-cruelty free thing is this Avon Quad in Sandy Corals, and I think my sister gave this to me. She's really into Avon, and it's a nice little palette. It's got a great mirror, and 4 shades that go really well together. Let's see. They're all matte. Well, these are definitely matte, the light and the dark. This one's kind of a satiny, and then this one is a shimmer. And I do like shades like this, but again, this is something that I just never reach for, so I'm getting rid of it. All right, just a few more. We're almost there. This is these are all cruelty-free products now that just don't work for me, or they're old, or I don't reach for them. This is one like that. This is an e.l.f. cream eyeshadow. Oh. Yeah. In the shade Bronzed, right? Bronzed. It's a nice shade. But I hate the packaging on this. It looks very cute, but it's very bulky. And I have one of the smudge pots in the e.l.f. smudge pots in Brownie Points. That's a similar color. This is a little bit more red than Brownie Points. I never reach for it, so it's going. Next, I hate to say this because I usually, well, I hate to say it with most of these products because I love e.l.f. And I love NYX, and I love the packaging on this. It's super cute. This is one of the NYX Baked Shadows in the color Rebel. You can see it's got this adorable bow on the opening, and it looks like a really pretty shade. I love greens, and this has a nice this has a nice golden shimmer running through it. It's just not very pigmented. It's very powdery. It doesn't come off very strong on the lids. See, it just kind of blends away to nothing. So I'm getting rid of it. Oh well. I have another NYX shadow. So this is one of the NYX Glam shadows in Trend. And can we talk about how pretty that looks? So sparkly. Yeah. But again, same thing. It's you can feel the glitter. It feels very grainy. It's kind of powdery. Maybe you can see the kind of clumps that formed from me just swirling my finger through the product. And it doesn't, it doesn't blend well. It's not very pigmented. The sparkles are pretty. But I actually, while I was going through all my shadows, I went through all my silver shades, because I have a ton of silver shades, apparently, to see what the deal was. And this was definitely, I have enough that I can get rid of this. Next up is this e.l.f. Waterproof Eyeliner Crayon in the shade Navy. And, it's a pretty shade. I like navy shadows. But it's kind of, it's hard. It's not that creamy. Excuse me. It's a nice color. It doesn't really blend that well. It's very waxy. So again, I just don't reach for it. I have the Milani eyeshadow in navy, which I like a lot. It's darker than this. This is a little bit, this has that nice kind of blue shine to it. Almost last thing, this is a Pacifica eyeshadow duo in Unicorn and Moonbeam. Well, I forgot that happened. Again, let's see. This purple especially, like, I'm gonna really rub on that thing. So many innuendos. And the payoff is just not that great. This cream color, I'm assuming this is Moonbeam. Or it's Unicorn, who knows. That's a really pretty color. I like that one a lot. But again, the pigment the payoff isn't great. I don't even know if it would make a good highlight because it's very kind of chunky glitter. I'm hoping that's coming off on camera. We'll see. It's very chunky glitter, which for me, I don't usually want in a highlight. It just doesn't, you know, that one, the Moonbeam, I'm assuming, swatches better than the purple shade, but it doesn't transfer well onto the eyes. It kind of blends away to nothing, just leaving some glitter. So sadly, that's going too. Last thing is an eyeshadow brush, and this is the $1 blending brush from e.l.f. This is like their crease blending brush, and as you can see, if you have this brush, this looks different. It's kind of fallen apart a little bit. Whoops, with stuff in it. This is usually how it is. And it is a nice, especially for $1, this is a nice little blending brush. But as I use it, it's like a turtle now. It just tucks into its shell there. So I might get another one, but I have a lot of Real Techniques brushes that do the same thing, so I probably won't. But I wouldn't say no to repurchasing this because I did like it a lot. Whew, all right, so that is eye stuff done. So I just have one more section of lip products, and I think this has the most products of any of these so far. So we'll see how that goes, and I will see you in that video. Bye.